Oh, will you be on camera too? Or
No.
But who's going to ask the question? I mean.
Yeah, sure.
So you'll have the question.
I have lots of things we can talk about.
I can just talk. I don't need you to ask me anything, actually. Okay.
Great.
So it's on?
Yeah.
And you can hear me okay? Here's the story of me and ECM. The first recording that I did for ECM was with my friend Dave Liebman, who I know 50 years, 1973. The name of the recording is Lookout Farm. And this was me and Dave, and Bob Moses, Stevie Satin, John Abercrombie. It was a very important record for all of us, and also for ECM. They didn't have any real distribution in the United States yet. It was just ECM, like this foreign company. They had a record from Keith and from Paul Bley and some crazy European shit that was strange, but it was a buzz, it was an underground thing. And Dave was playing with Miles Davis, and Manfred came to the concert and loved Dave and said, let's make a record. Dave said, okay. So, but we did it in New York City, Generation Sound. And all the guys are there. Tony May was the engineer, and Manfred was there, and we had some special music. The record was half acoustic, half electric. Had an electric piano and an amazing Steinway there. Because that was the band. Lookout Farm was a fusion band, jazz fusion band. We played a lot of acoustic music, very free, a lot of straight ahead stuff, and some electric music, funk, and contemporary stuff. Right? So Manfred comes in the studio. He's running around, very excited, but quiet and calm at the same time. Anyway, we did a tune by Dave Liebman called MD, which is on this record, and that had a piano intro. So I played a long piano intro, no solo, and it came out really good. I was very happy with it. And after the take, which was amazing, it was take one, Manfred comes out of the studio, out of the listening room, and comes to me and says, Richie, that was a great intro. Would you like to make a trio record for ECM? Would, of course. So about 6 months later, we did Eon, which was with Frank Tusa and Jeff Williams, which was the rhythm section for Lookout Farm. That was bass player and drummer. And it was a good record. I was still very young. But that began my career. Because I never had to make an audition tape. I never had to beg. It came to me. I was so lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. New York City in the 70s was the center of the world. And the 60s too, but I was a little too young. So now I'm with ECM. And then Dave does his second record for ECM, Drum Ode, which was very good. And then Manfred wanted to do a solo piano record. And that brings us to Hubris. And I was totally honored because at that time, there were just a few. There was, of course, Keith Jarrett's Facing You, which was fantastic. Chick Corea, Piano Improvisations 1 and 2. Paul Bley, Open to Love. And a Steve Kuhn record. And me. And this was a big honor. I prepared and prepared and prepared. I had all original compositions, no standards. And we recorded in Ludwigsburg, Bauer Studios, Martin Wieland. This was really pressure and adrenaline and excitement. I was nervous, very humble. And Manfred was fantastic, genius producer. Very tough, but very kind. I'd been practicing the piano a lot and wrote a lot of interesting music, but I was playing the piano instead of the music. I was playing some decoration things on some takes. I was playing arpeggios for no reason. Just because I could. And it sounded amazing on that piano. So I come in, I do a take of Sunday Song, right? And I think it's pretty good. The engineer, Martin's very quiet. They've trained the engineers not to show excitement or negativity, just neutral. Manfred's not neutral. I say, so what do you think? He goes, Richie, what is this decoration wallpaper? My heart was like, boom. I said, what do you mean? He says, why are you playing these arpeggios? He said, what does that have to do with your musical idea? Right, he was right like a motherfucker, okay? So I'm thinking, yes, yes. He says, just play the idea and let the piano ring. This was his incredible value as a producer, helping the artist to bring out the best of what they want. This happened quite a few times. I would have a take, and it was too much. It was playing too much. I was playing everything. The piano was unbelievable. It was 1928 rosewood, 9-foot Hamburg Steinway. Rosewood, very unusual. With the original parts, this is already in 1977. It had so much sound. I hadn't played the piano like that before. I had played good Steinways, but this piano, you play a note and it would ring and ring. Plus Manfred loves reverb and he said, let the piano play. Don't step on the sound. Genius producer, motherfucker. And I started to really learn in the moment what the difference between the development of an idea and the decoration of an idea. Because I was a really good classical pianist and I had great chops. So you want to play, you want to show it. But if the technique is not a part of the idea, it's stupid. And this is what I learned from him. And he was very hard, but very kind and very nice. Like he kept saying, no, that's not it. That's not good enough. That's not good. In other words, it's not like it wasn't good enough for him. It wasn't, he didn't think it was good enough for me because he had confidence that I could do better. And he was right. So we had 6 hours of that. And then I went to the hotel, went to sleep. 6 hours again the next day. The second day was much better. The night before, I thought about the whole thing. I was staying in the Adler Hotel in Ludwigsburg, which is right near the studio. Beautiful old hotel. No TVs, none of that stuff. And just beautiful, nice German people thinking. Because I had, I was by myself. It's not a band, solo piano. I love solo piano, but it's very lonely. So I have to really talk to myself and say, what did you learn today? It was always about too much. Don't play too much pedal. Don't talk too much. Also when I play, I move around a lot. I can't help it. And when you move, you make noise. And if you make noise, Manfred's going to kill you. Martin says, Richie, please sit still. And I'm moving my leg. I'm a jazz musician. Anyway, their record came out really good. Really, really good. I played much better than I ever did. That's the thing. At this point, in 1977, the record that I would have made without Manfred would not have been nearly as good. And you would never be able to listen to it today. Too much decoration and extra shit that's not in the feeling of the music and in the development. Okay. And he was wonderful. And then the Cologne concert hit. Keith, the Cologne concert became an incredible phenomenon. It sold 5 million units of a double LP, in the world. Now ECM, big distribution, Polydor in America. It became a buzz. Every magazine, everything, ECM, the new Blue Note. It was. But ECM is not a jazz label. contemporary improvised music label, which is very, very different. So now, Manfred has distribution all over the world, in every country. It's a thing. In Japan, Argentina, Jakarta, of course, Canada, everything. So my record, made for a tiny little German company, is now global, big time. I'm getting reviews. I'm becoming known, which is great. An artist must be known, must be famous, so he can work. I'm not talking about the stupid stuff about being famous. I'm talking about when a guy decides he's going to book his club, he has to make a decision. Can I book this band? Will enough people come? Because he has to pay the bills, has to pay the rent. And if no one knows you, even if you're great, you can't work. Or you work for nothing. So I got to be well known. I mean, in this small, limited world, you know, I could still walk down the street without having to sign an autograph. But I started to work with my own band. Concerts, solo concerts. Okay, long story short, now I'm still playing with Lookout Farm, with Dave. We're doing well. We have tours, big, long, 6-week tours set up by ECM. At that time, ECM had its own booking thing. Thomas Thousand, who was Saudades, that's their main booking thing, which, okay. We're working all the time. All the time. And then I wanted to make another trio record because I had already Eon, and now comes Elm. And the thing about Manfred is that he does not like jazz. He doesn't like bebop, what he thinks is jazz. He loves this free things, open things that sound great to record. But I'm a jazz pianist, and I'm proud of it. And the record came out very well with George Mraz and Jack DeJohnette. We did Sea Priestess, my tune. We did Key, a ballad. We did Pendulum, and we did The Snow Leopard. In those days, I don't know if you're old enough to remember side A, side B, 22 minutes on each side, right? We had a great time recording with Jack and George. It was wonderful. And then we had a problem with The Snow Leopard. The Snow Leopard is a really up-tempo piece written about this amazing animal that you can hardly see that is so fast in the Himalayas. It's a leopard, right? I said, listen, I'm a jazz pianist. He's the producer. I'm the artist. It's his company. I'm going to do what I want. So, and also with Jack DeJohnette and George Mraz, please don't tell me anything about what you don't like, okay? Anyway, I'm the artist. So we make a take of The Snow Leopard. It was supposed to be a piano solo and a drum solo and the head. What happens is, I had played a lot with Jack DeJohnette, with Stan Getz, with Dave Holland, and I developed a really great rapport with him. At that time, he was my favorite drummer and easy to play with once you get used to it. George, I was with my brother practically, playing with him with John Abercrombie and duos. So it was not like, oh, hello, how are you? These were my really good friends. So we developed a way to play. I like to take chances. Risk, no reward. So, in the middle of the take, something happened, and I just got this impetus, this feeling to go into another tempo. The tune is like this. It's really fast and light, and everything's happening. And I said, no, I'm going. And there's a big chance, because it could fuck up. But not with these guys. I stopped the burn. I went into another tempo, a swinging tempo, that was not a halftime. And they came with me, like magic. And it was swinging like I remember never feeling so great in the studio. Then, there's a spontaneous drum solo he plays. Incredible drum solo where he speeded up the time and slowed it down. Just magic. And we never played the head again. We were supposed to go back and play the melody. No. At the end is another spectacular moment for me. Jack starts a vamp. Like an open, free funk vamp. I'm waiting. I don't play. I'm like, don't fuck it up. Don't play. George comes in with the bass figure and the vamp. And they're playing, and it's happening. It's right there. I just come in, another short solo, and then we end. Long track for an LP. It was like 9 minutes or 11 minutes. I am so happy. I said, we captured something really great. Jack knew it, and George too. I walk into the studio, into the listening room. Manfred's got his head down on the mixing board, like somebody just told him his sister died. And he looks at me and he says, "What is this Art Blakey bullshit?" You can ask him if you talk to him. And something happened to me at that moment. Something moved, changed, like, what the fuck are you talking about? This was the best take I ever did in my life for your company. Are you crazy? I didn't say that, of course. He said, "Richie, what is wrong with you?" So I felt destroyed. I went from being on Mount Everest to being underground. And I was very disappointed and pissed. Because he didn't just give me his opinion. He was trying to destroy me and destroy my faith in my music. Plus, he was wrong, period. And at that moment, I saw my relationship with Manfred as a producer was over. Because a great producer tries to help the artist get what the artist wants. That's the idea. But his ego was so big that he was putting his artistic vision and trying to limit what I wanted. And this was a very bad thing because this is an important person, Manfred. He's not just an asshole. He's very important, he's brilliant, he's creative and powerful. He's sitting on the greatest now new record company in the world with great music. You think of the hundreds of records that are great, like life-changing records on there. So that was the end for me. Not the physical end, but that was at that point I stopped thinking of him as valuable. He was not valuable because he was limiting me. And it was tragic, but it was real life. Anyway, I wanted to start the record with this number. Like, yeah. And he absolutely forbade it. So we started it with the C priest. Okay, I made a compromise, doesn't matter. But I left Ludwigsburg with a very strange feeling. And Elm, of course, Elm. This tune that I wrote for Zbigniew Seifert when he passed away became a classic tune, a standard tune. People love it and play it. I'm very happy, humble. He loved that. And we named the record that. But after that experience, I was very confused and, man, how could this be? The thing about Elm was that it was so sad because I really felt that I had played, and Jack and George, we played our hearts out. And we captured something very important and very personal in the studio. And I don't know, I never really spoke to Manfred again so much after that. You know, I didn't want to talk to him, and I'm sure he didn't want to talk to me. So the 70s was unbelievable. Elm was 78, right? 79. And this came out and went all over the world, and this is what really made me known. And the tunes Elm and Broken Wing that I wrote for Chet and Pendulum, these tunes became part in the real books, in the literature from Chuck Scher, and they went virally all over the world. So I'm very thankful. I will never feel bad about those records. I'm very proud of them, and I had a wonderful time working with him and for him, and he taught me a lot. He was much more experienced. Of course, he was producing Chick Corea and Paul Bley and Keith. Keith, who changed the whole world, right? So I will always be grateful for Manfred for that. Then I'd like to talk about this record, Sound Suggestions, from George Adams. Oh, shit.
Just bought it. It was newly released.
It was?
Yeah.
From ECM? Amazing. Or just Japanese? No, it's ECM. Amazing. That's incredible. No liner notes, right? Do you see the picture here in the studio? Look at that. Oh my God. The guy, I saw the thing you did on the guy that did this cover. It was interesting. Do you see this picture on the back? Jack and I were discussing how to do sit-ups. And I said, man, you have to bend your knees. And he said, no. And you see him with his feet out like this? Okay. George Adams, ready? We did this 2 days before Elm. I went over there for 5 days. The first 2 days with Jack DeJohnette and Dave Holland, Heinz Sauer, George Adams, and Kenny Wheeler to do a record with George Adams. And then after they left, and then we did Elm. Okay. I had played with George Adams once before. He was playing a lot with Mingus. He was a very nice guy, good saxophone player. And Manfred liked him and hired Kenny Wheeler to write arrangements and write some music for it. It was fun. It was really fun, and we got the music, and the music was beautifully written, everything cool. Kenny wrote a beautiful ballad called Aspire. We played the rubato ballad. We did Imani's Dance from George Adams, arranged by Kenny. And then a blues written by George Adams called Got Something Good for You. Now, this was an amazing scandal. Manfred didn't know that George Adams, on all his gigs, sings a blues. But it's not like a nice little blues, it's a dirty blues, it's like, got something good for you, like really a rockin'. Kenny arranged it for like 3 horns, like a big band. And George is singing it first, like a straight ahead blues. Ding, 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 ding. Completely different from everything on the record, and completely different from anything in the ECM catalog. Okay? So, and it was fun and amazing, and we all played, I mean, I played like Wynton Kelly. Jack sounds like Bernard Purdy, like ching, ching, and Dave Holland's ding, ding, like a shuffle. But great horn writing and solos. But these lyrics are really dirty and funky and great and like a party. You should have seen Manfred's face after we did this. But it was really good. And I think Manfred saw that it would be good to loosen up a little bit. Plus, George was no problem. Like, he always does that. He thought it was fine. He didn't have every ECM record. He didn't know about Manfred's limitation about doesn't like jazz. Jazz. George figured Manfred hired him, and then that's it. He must know. Anyway, it worked out, and it came. Did you hear it? Did you ever hear this? You did, okay. So I couldn't believe it, that it got on the record. I thought Manfred was going to cut it, for sure. But he needed it, because he needed the amount of time. So that's the story, and we had a wonderful time. Since then, Manfred has had a lot of more different kinds of music, a lot of funky groups and some jazz things. And Manfred helped to blur the lines of what jazz really is. I mean, jazz, in the end, it's contemporary improvised music. But he did some of the most important recordings of the 20th century, for sure. And I will always be grateful for him for giving me and my friends a chance. Oh, I can talk about this. Look at this. Now, am I on?
Yeah.
Imagine I'm 30 years old and I get this in the mail. This is the cover to my solo record. This is the classic ECM cover. This is a stunning picture. This is Manfred's vision. Simple, beautiful. And Hubris, it's one of my favorite compositions. And it was kind of a message to me. Hubris means pride in Greek, right? It's a Greek word, like too much stolz, or the kind of pride, the hubris that comes back on you, you know? Like you see a guy reaching too far and trying to go with the president's wife, and then he gets caught and then he's in jail. Hubris, right? So I'm talking to myself, okay? And the sadness that comes with hubris. Yeah, I love this record. This was 1977. Woo! Okay.
But that's all.
But it's like the most mediocre shot I have made in a while. Not because of you, but because of the...
Because of you. This is Miss Regina Litvinova playing keyboards and synthesizer. This is Christian Schäuber playing drums and percussion. And you know me. This is almost all of my band. We also have a new bass player called Veit Hubner, who is Gregor Hubner's brother, who is wonderful. This is my band now that I'm very happy with. We have made recordings as a trio, Gaia, which has been released for a while, and we will make a new recording soon with all new compositions with the quartet. Also, Regina has a wonderful recording of her own with Christian and Casey Benjamin called Shapes, 4 Shapes, okay? Excellent. This new band is really happening. It really, I can do everything that I want to do. I can do some really burning, straight ahead jazz. I can do free music. I can do compositions. Regina writes really well. Christian has been writing. I'm very happy playing with this band. And I just wanted you to know this is what I'm doing now. I'm living in Heßheim here. And it works great for me. I'm 71, I'm retired from teaching, and I'm having a great time. So, would you like to say something about the new band?
Me?
Yeah, you. Please.
What should I say? I've been playing with Regina since how long? 15, 20 years?
Yeah.
And this makes it incredibly great to play with somebody. And now, since some years with you, it's amazing because it changed one more time the whole thing of playing and the way we play. It's a great band. I love this band very much. And I'm very proud to play in this band.
Remember that. Would you like to
Always.
say something?
Yeah, me too. I'm very proud to play in this band, and also the space you go into. It's like no borders.
Very
It's
good.
Like just no borders. We go to any place and take everybody for this travel with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Borders is a
Improvising.
very
Very good.
good way to describe what we all do. And I must also say, with ECM, in its best days, Manfred did break down lots of borders between classical music and contemporary music and jazz. And yeah, I mean, I wish that we could record for ECM now. Why? Because they have a fantastic machine, they have a great distribution thing, they have a worldwide, global distribution service, and they're connected. But that's okay, we have our own way.